Good evening, fuckers, and no, no shitting hippo intro for this one. We're getting straight on with it because this is a video that, believe it or not, someone from Frontier Developments themselves have asked me to do. So I'll get straight on with it. The carrier is currently in the system Trifid sector DL-Y D157, so we are thousands of light years away from the populated zone, and this is a system that has collared pods, and we're currently on an exploration trip which is going to take us out to Colonia. I've got Panther UK and Jimbo 76 following along. They've got ships docked on the carrier, so they're going to be heading out there as well. And my intention was to come here first and grab a load of tissue samples from collared pods, which I have done, but for reasons that are about to become clear, I'm going to have to show you a screenshot where, yeah, I illustrate how much of what particular collared pod I got, or collared pod tissue sample I got. So let's take a look at that screenshot. So this is a screenshot that I took once I'd finished gathering all of the tissue samples that I could. So yeah, I was in me Anaconda, which I've outfitted as like my research ship. And yeah, so I've got a cargo capacity of 144 tons, and I completely filled it. So I got 89 pod core tissue samples, 27 pod dead tissue samples, and 28 pod surface tissue samples. And let's be honest, that's not brilliant. I would much rather have more, surface and dead tissue than core tissue. But nevertheless, that's what I got from the collared pods. That is what I want to keep. I don't think I'm asking too much, by wanting that. Just as I'm also pretty sure I'm not asking too much by wanting to simply move that to the carrier. No. So as I say, I shouldn't really be asking too much when it comes to being able to transfer that lot to my carrier. Well, I've already tried numerous times, and the net result of that is that well, the amounts that I got have completely changed. So I now have 6 pod core tissue samples, 54 pod dead tissue samples, and 73 pod surface tissue samples. Now, you may be thinking, well, that's alright, it means you're going to make a lot more credits. That's not the point. The point is, I know how much I got, and I want I want that kept. And let's not gloss over the fact that 11 tons have completely vanished. I filled my Anaconda to full cargo capacity. That's why I had 144. If I'd gone out in me in my cutter here, the idea would have been to get 720, but I think I would have been on the verge of hanging myself before I even got halfway. So I'll explain why I changed to the cutter in a moment. But all I am trying to do is something very simple. Transfer all of these tissue samples to the carrier. So we'll confirm it, and this happens. So it says that there are now 6 core tissue samples, 54 dead tissue samples, and 13 surface tissue samples on the carrier. But also, nothing has been moved from my ship. They're all still there. So, well, I confirmed it. I won't cancel it just in case cancelling does actually cancel the transfer, even though I've confirmed it. So I'll go back, come here, and no, everything is still in my ship. If you go to the transfer screen, it still says 654 and 13 for the surface, or for the tissue samples that supposedly were moved. Well, I want to sell these, and I did actually have these things listed in the commodities market when I got some a year or so ago. It may be more than that, it may have been 2 years ago. But according to this, there's none there. Well, okay, let's bring up carrier management and see if we can set up the gone right past them. Core tissue samples, dead tissue, okay, that's what I've got. But according to this, nothing. There isn't any. Surface tissue, 0. So there isn't any in the carrier. But there it says there are. But just in case it's being a bit slow, we'll exit. And then we shall reload. And see if it's transferred there. See if you can guess what the answer to that is. Ah, they're all still there. And this is still showing. This is actually something new. Normally this would be completely, normally the stuff on the carrier would be all reset back to naught. But it's saying that there is stuff there. Okay. Well, let's look then if they actually are still there. No, they're not. And again, just really slowed down big time there. Now, I think I know why it went down from 144 to 133, which is that I changed from the Anaconda to the Cutter to see if I could then transfer some tritium to my ship, okay, which I could, and I transferred 11 tons. And that's fine, that's working. You can transfer it all back. But I couldn't transfer it back from the ship to the carrier again. Now, thankfully, I did have some space in the tritium department, the tritium depot, so I could put the 11 tons into this. Although it did come up, transfer stolen tritium. None of this tritium was stolen. For one thing, prior to update 7, you couldn't use stolen tritium. So why the fucking hell would I have 16,838 tons of stolen tritium on the carrier? Pointless. So it wasn't stolen. But it does seem awfully coincidental that I transferred 11 tons of tritium to my ship, and suddenly 11 tons of the tissue samples disappeared. So there you go, Mr. Viking of Frontier support. There is your proof. It's not just evidence, this is indisputable proof that this thing is fucked. Now I'm going to be kind and say, yeah, that's all you need to see, Mr. Viking. I very much doubt you will want to watch the rest of this video, because I'm going to spend it pointing out what a bunch of fucking useless cunts you lot are. Right, so now he's gone. Where do I fucking start? The reason I timed this exploration trip when I did was specifically so that I wasn't around in the populated zone when the new update came along, because I knew it was going to fuck something up. Oh, a big mistake that was. Never, I keep saying this before, and yeah, I've done it myself here, but never underestimate just how far Frontier Developments will go to fuck things up, because in this case you have no escape, none at all. If you've got a fleet carrier, no matter where you are in the game's universe, it's gonna get you. They will find a way to fuck up your game. Absolutely. All I am trying to do, all I am trying to do is transfer my cargo from my ship. Let's see if I now confirm this. Yeah, so they are now out of the carrier, but the quantities on my ship haven't increased. But all I'm trying to do is transfer, this cargo from my ship to my carrier, which I have done thousands of times before. I mean, it is basically it's an arithmetic calculation in the code. And, arithmetic calculations, adding numbers, is the most basic core function of every processor and every microchip that has ever been built since the things were first invented. And yet, in the hands of Frontier Developments, they can't do it. This thing here, pod core tissue, I'm basically getting the computer to work out a sum which is naught in the carrier plus 6. Now, there are infant school kids that can do that sum, but in the hands of Frontier Developments, your computer with its multiple microchips in it cannot do it. I mean, it does beg a belief that Frontier Developments can possibly be this fucking inept. How can a group of supposed coders be this inept and keep their job? I cannot think of a single company that is related to coding software of any kind that would be this shit and not at any point be threatened with the sack. In fact, not even threatened with it. They, whoever it is that would be in charge of quality control would take one look at it and say, "You're out the fucking door." Now, that recent change I've done there has now changed what I've got even more. I now have 12 pod core tissue, and my pod surface tissue count has gone down to 67. Fucking what? But there's more. There's far more. Because I raised a ticket as you may have gathered from the fact that this video was done. Let's have a look at that, shall we? And there's one particular part of it I want to highlight, and the response is quite incredible. Okay, so this is the ticket that I raised with Frontier Developments about this fucking thing. But there is one thing in particular that I want to point out. It's this bit here. So I wrote, I am currently unable to continue my exploration trip since I can't access my Diamondback Explorer with its 4-ton capacity. Because as you've seen, I've got, well, now 133 tons of cargo that I cannot do anything with. The Diamondback Explorer, that is my exploration ship. That's what I've been using while I'm out here. And I can't access it, even if even if all of the optional internal slots have been taken up with cargo racks. I still don't have it anywhere near. Well, it should be 144 tons. It's currently 133 tons capacity in that ship, so there is no way I could access it. And in the reply from Mr.Viking, I get this. In regards to your DBX, I can see there appears to be an issue there, and I've reset the ship's status. Could you also test this and see if you can access? Where do I start with that? I can see there appears to be an issue there, and I've reset that ship's status. What issue? What is there in the ship that needs resetting? At no point did I say that something in the ship needs resetting. I can't access it because I can't get rid of the cargo in my ship that I'm currently in. So fuck knows what they've done to it, because he then goes on, yeah, could you also test this and see if you can access it? How can I test it? I've got 133 tons of fucking cargo. All I want to do is put it on my fucking carrier. And I can't do it because the game is so fucked. And they're saying, could you test this and see if you can access the ship? No, I can't. You know I can't. I explain it in the fucking ticket. I also included 2 screenshots. The first one, the one I showed you with the cargo that I originally had, and the second one shows the cargo capacity that I currently have, and I've shown you previously in this video. And fucking, the brain of Frontier Developments customer support says, could you also test this and see if you can access? Are you taking a piss? Anyway, back into the game. So, well, okay. I wonder if Mr. Viking is still watching this. I may have to send a second link to this time frame so that he can ignore the bit where, I really drive the message home. But let's try it, shall we? Okay, he's made this change or reset something on my Diamondback. Now the thing is, I've got 2 of them. Now this is the one I was using. The clubbed seal. This is my exploration one, and of course it says you have too much cargo to move to this ship. This ship can only carry 4 units, but you have 133. Well, there's a shock. I never knew that. Now this is my other one, the Priest of Syrinx. Now I can't use this either because this can carry 8, but it doesn't look like he's changed anything here. It doesn't look like he's changed anything here. So he hasn't done anything as far as, you know, resetting the layout or anything at all like that. Which does, of course, mean, well, what has he done? He's reset an issue that didn't exist in the first place. The issue is blindingly fucking obvious and would be fixed if they had done what I asked them to do in the first place, which was transfer the cargo onto my carrier. Because thanks to their utter fucking shitness, I can't do. And I am not going to continue an exploration trip in, you know, a ship that is going to be too big for me to land on surfaces, because I'm trying to get exobiology samples as well. So at the moment I've got three options. I can either wait for it to be fixed, but Frontier's track record, I could be here for years and that will never get looked at. I can take the you know, whatever I've got now, go back to the Lagoon Nebula, because there is a station there that I can land at, and sell it. Or I can just go, you know, give up and go back to the populated zone. I did ask Panther and Jim what they wanted to do. Rather unhelpfully, they both said something along the lines of, "It's your carrier, you decide." And I was thinking, well, if I was running it like that, I'd have just done whatever I want to do and bollocks to what you think. You know, I was hoping that they would give me an answer that, you know, like some democratic almost decision be made. I think Panther kind of hinted that he did want to carry on going to Colonia, which for me means selling this lot. But he did also have one other suggestion, and it was one that I had completely forgotten about, and I have not yet tried. I'm going to wait until, well, basically until I was doing this video. So what I will do is load Horizons, and we'll see if it works in that. So we'll do a jump cut and we'll be back and see how that goes. Right, so here we are in Horizons, and let's just get straight on with it. It took rather longer for this to boot up because, of course, yeah, I hadn't updated it or done the planetary warm-up thing. Anyway, right, so inventory, all there, transfer all. There it is. It's no longer in my inventory. Let's see if they're up as available to sell. Would know if I went to the right section. I don't know what to say. What? Who the fuck is in charge of doing, you know, Odyssey's coding? You something as basic as this, transferring your fucking, you know, cargo from your ship to your carrier. How much more basic do you want it? And yet in Odyssey you can't do that. So you have to exit the game, load up Horizons and do it there. And of course the quantities I've got there now are totally different to what I brought back. So can I now change ship? Oh, the old... it may look simpler and more basic, but oh, I think it looks so much better. The thing is, because this workaround is here, that means that fuck up with transferring your cargo is now going to be almost certainly ignored. They're not going to bother addressing it at all. Or if they do, it's going to be such a low priority that you're probably going to be waiting, well, a long fucking time anyway. Right, we'll do one last test then. We'll have another jump cut and we'll see what happens when we go back to Odyssey. Right, so we're back in Odyssey then. Let's start up the game. It's got me in the Diamondback, so okay, just making sure they're all still there. Yeah. So there is your solution, and it's likely to be the solution for a long time. I don't know if I said, but I can't lay claim to coming up with that idea. It was actually Panther UK came up with that one, of trying it in Horizons and seeing if I can do it there. And the answer is yes, you can, which is a sort of double-edged sword. Yes, it means that issue, you can get around it. But it also means that if Frontier developers will know about this workaround and therefore are not going to bother doing anything to fix it for some time, if at all. I also thought of something else. That reply I got to my ticket there. The bullshit section about, oh yeah, I checked your Diamondback or your Diamondback Explorer and saw there was an issue, so I've reset it. I've got 2 of them. Now he didn't mention anything about finding 2 of them. He also didn't mention which one he had done, and of course didn't mention what it was that he had actually done to it. Now, as far as I'm concerned, there is only one explanation for that, which is it's fucking bullshit. He didn't do a fucking thing. He didn't know which Diamondback to, do anything to. There was nothing wrong with either of them, other than I couldn't access them because I had too much cargo that I couldn't shift. So what is he talking about? He's fucking bullshitting me. So if you do contact Frontier Development's support through a ticket, you're going to have to watch that they don't try and fob you off with some utter bullshit. Especially if you've got old Mr.Viking here. And that is not me being slanderous or anything. You've got the proof right here in front of you in this video. You saw what he wrote. You've seen the footage here, which he wanted recorded. yeah. I am. It's one of these very rare occasions where I am genuinely lost for words. I cannot put into any words in the English language what I think of Frontier Developments at this precise moment. There are no words that exist. Well, I think that's a good point at which to end this video. Wasn't that fun?